Alright, what's up guys, it's ParnellEX, and for today's video, we're going to be checking out a low master tier Korean Warwick player by the name of, I am not going to pronounce it. So you can see right there what his name is. Boya Liwai. I just lied. I am going to try to pronounce it. I'm going to fail. But yeah. So this game, let's see his skill order. So he does 3 points W, Q max, into E max. Interesting. I think I'd rather do W max into 3 points into Q and then E max if I was going to do it that way. But that's what this guy's doing. As we can see from his rune set, he's running Conqueror, Triumph, was he Legend, I think he was running Legend Tenacity, Last Stands, Eyeball Collection, and Treasure Hunter, which is interesting. The Treasure Hunter could help him snowball a little bit, and the Eyeball Collection kind of also helps with that. So yeah, so I've played a couple games of Jungle Warwick so far this patch, and I feel like it's not that great. I think Warwick Jungle's feeling weaker, and I didn't think he was that strong last patch either. I thought he was actually kind of weak before, and I think he only got weaker with this patch. Okay, we're seeing an early invade on the Shyvana. First blood. Okay, show him, Boya. He's gonna take the red. Gonna come up here, take the Krugs. Okay, nice. But yeah, I was thinking Warwick has only gotten weaker this patch in the jungle. I'm not entirely sure about, you know, top lane Warwick. I gotta test that out a little bit more. I think mid lane's actually like secret OP. I'm gonna try to show you guys some mid lane Warwick more over the next couple weeks. But yeah, I feel like Warwick jungle has not been that good. So what I did the other day is, or yesterday, is I just went OPGG and looked around to try to find the best Warwick players from every region and see what they are up to. And I found this guy right here in low master tier, and he is, yeah, he's one of the highest ranked Warwicks on the Korean server that plays that one trick Warwick. But he's also a Warwick player that's been winning. He's got an interesting build and he's been winning. So that's basically what I'm trying to highlight here. So we can see with the Conqueror, he's going like a pretty, he's basically going full tank Warwick, I believe. And honestly, full tank Warwick, see if he gets a kill here. Oh my god, he's just kind of shredding him. You can see he rushed the Tiamat. Completely just trashed these kids. Love to see it. Oh, he's just chasing down the Shyvana. Just doesn't even care. She's got no flash. Nice. Nice. Okay, so he's grabbed that. He's gonna go ahead and just try to take the Squamp here. See if he can take it in time. Now, something I've noticed, usually on these replays, they don't show the enemy perspective. It makes it a little bit harder to like VOD review, because obviously he's not gonna like know where Shyvana is. He's not gonna like see where the enemy has wards and stuff. So just try to imagine, you know, his perspective if you are trying to learn here and figure out how he's jungle pathing. My focus is definitely going to be around a little bit of playstyle, but also, again, his build. So I think he's going very tank-heavy Warwick, and I think tank Warwick might be the way this patch. So jungle Warwick actually might not be too bad. It might not be too bad, because I still need to try out some tank builds, but I feel like tank Warwick is probably going to be the play. And the reason is, so going something like Bork Chemtank, which is what you went in like the previous patch, a lot of times it was, I'd say it was overall the most consistent and best build on Warwick Jungle was Bork and Turbo Chemtank. You could build those items, you could one-shot squishies. So you just got this Questa. Nice. And oh, he's dead. So you could build Bork Chemtank, and you could one-shot squishies with those items. You had decent DPS. You had decent utility with the Turbo Chemtank active and the Bork slow as well, and movement speed gain. And you also had decent tankiness. So you're able to, you know, fulfill the role of someone who can just, yeah, like an assassin of some sort. You could just one-shot squishies, but you also had some other, like, you know, you had a pretty well-rounded gameplay beyond that. You weren't just, you know, one-shot and get out and do nothing. You still had some good DPS, good tankiness, good utility. This patch, I think if you're going Bork Chemtank, generally speaking, it's much harder to one-shot a squishy. I think it's going to be much harder. Maybe if you go press the attack every game, you can still have that value, but I'm not so sure. I think this kid dude is just doing damage right here. So I think going like something like Tank Warwick will allow you to dive carries, be really tanky, be able to play aggressive in fights, but without getting kited and just dying. Because like right now, if you go like Bork Him Tank, you're gonna go dive in, you try to one shot the squishy, they don't die, and then they just flash out or dash out and kite you, or they get heal or something like that. So lacking that kill pressure, I think, is a big loss for that build. So I'm thinking that maybe a tankier Warwick build is going to be optimal. And another thing to consider is because it's a little bit harder to kill enemies early on, and the game's a little bit slower in the early game, I think going Tiamats will increase your clear speed a little bit more relatively to Bork. So playing a more farm-centric playstyle to get ahead is probably going to be more consistent. And that's my theory, at least. So in my opinion, Meatball Tank Warwick is the way. That said, this man, this psycho, has shocked me. So I saw this guy had Serrated Dirk in his final build. I thought that he was building into like an Umbral Glaive at the end of the game or something like that, because I did see he got it sometimes. Every once in a while he gets an Umbral Glaive. This man goes Tiamat into Umbral Glaive, or sorry, into Serrated Dirk, and it looks like he's gonna sit on the Serrated Dirk and just build into other items. That is so interesting. So he's basically just going for an early raw damage spike to give him kill pressure and give him clear speed with the Tiamats plus Serrated Dirk. This is like Warrior in previous seasons, basically. And then he's just gonna rush into, I think, strip Titanic Hydra afterwards. So the thing that's cool about this, it's a Serrated Dirk. For those that aren't aware, is he's got another gank bot lane here. Really, you can just see his damage is so high. But Serrated Dirk has probably the highest like gold value. It's like one of the most gold efficient items in the game. That's not like a full item. Like it's one of the most gold efficient item components in the game, because it's over 100% gold efficient in terms of just raw AD, which means that the item costs 1100 gold, and the amount of AD that it grants you is about 1100 gold. But then it also gives you lethality on top of that. So it's just like the lethality is just like a free bonus, on top of fitting well in your item slot and building into other items. So it's just super gold efficient to really quick power spike, and that's why assassins love it and stuff. So the one issue, of course, is Warwick is mixed damage. Actually, kind of leans heavy magic damage. So the lethality it's not like a wasted stat. It's just a kind of an inefficient stats. But for Serrated Dirk, it's already gold efficient, so it's just kind of a bonus. But also, if he's rushing into Titanic Hydra, which we just saw him do, Titanic Hydra does bonus physical damage on hit. The cleave does bonus physical damage, so the synergy is there. So I am very curious to see, how this really looks, because that's kind of interesting. I did not expect that from this man. As we can see, he goes over here. I mean, he's 8-2 this game, to be fair, so he's really fed. So he's basically gonna be able to do whatever he wants. But I do want to see what his kill pressure looks like on this new durability patch, because in my opinion, everyone just feels too tanky this patch, like too tanky. And that's why I think it's kind of hard for Warwick in the jungle. My overall opinion of Warwick in the jungle this patch is that I feel like he's gotten weaker. I feel like Warwick has gotten weaker this patch. Oh, this man gets out alive. Clutch escape there. He wanted to go in for the greedy kill. That honestly looks like a play out. that literally looks like a play for me. Go in for a greedy 1v3 that's super unnecessary, highly unlikely to work out, and then be like, oh shit, make a clean escape. That's something I would do. But yeah, I think Warwick is honestly looking kind of weak this patch. In the jungle. On top lane, I'm not so sure. I think mid lane Warwick's actually sleeper OP. So I'm going to try to show you guys some gameplay of Warwick in the mid lane in the next couple of weeks, next couple of days or next couple of weeks. So Notice he taxes the wave as Warwick, just because he's going to be... they can shove in this wave here, they can use the Herald. It's also just really good for Warwick to get some extra gold. But yeah, the reason why I think Warwick jungle is going to be kind of weak this patch. Now granted, I have not played a ton of games, so my opinion might change. And if you are still playing Warwick, or still you're doing fine with Warwick, definitely keep playing him and keep trying it. When I'm saying he's bad, I'm just saying it feels bad so far. And I am also talking high elo. So a lot of Warwick's like weaknesses are really more prominent in higher elo, and they're kind of ignored in lower elo. And so the reason why I think Warwick is kind of weak is he is a very snowball reliant champion. It's a champion that needs to get ahead to be able to be strong. Now, he does scale pretty well, although scaling I think is a little bit worse these days. Or sorry, with this new patch, I think his scaling is going to be a little bit worse. But I think that Warwick... Oh, nice. Nice. Oh, he's got a big bounty too. Yeah, this... Oh my god, that damage is legit? That is some legit damage right there. So yeah, Warwick is very, very snowball reliant. He needs to get ahead to take over the game and be relevant. But he's not very good at getting ahead. And so what I mean by that is usually snowball champions, snowball reliant champions, they usually have one of two things. They're either A, really good at killing champions. So for the case of jungler, this would mean having pretty strong ganks, pretty good dueling power. Now Warwick does have pretty good dueling power, but it's like he can't like invade as reliably as like Graves or Nidalee, for example, because he doesn't have a dash for the wall. So it's you can't reliably invade in higher elo at least, because you're just gonna get collapsed on by enemy teammates, and then you're just gonna die. So so that's not exactly a huge advantage he has, even though he is pretty good at dueling and skirmishing and stuff. But his gank power is very, very bad and inconsistent. Now he does have the situational good ganking power, but that's like, it's very conditional. The enemy has to be below half health for him to have good ganking power. And so the reason why this isn't a problem in lower elo is because, well, like silver, gold, enemies, you know, it's a bloodbath in lane, and people are low in health all the time. People aren't respecting ganks as much. So this low kill pressure that he has, generally speaking, in higher ranks, is not as prominent. So that's why he's still going to be fine in silver and gold. And even if I say he's bad this patch, if you're silver or gold and worried about want to drop him, don't drop him. It's if you still like, as long as you're having fun with him, he's going to be fine. I doubt the champion's going to have a really bad win rate. And even if he does have a bad win rate, Riot is probably going to, you know, buff him, right? If it gets that bad, and I doubt it's going to get that bad. So he's probably just going to be kind of weak, but probably not something relevant if you're trying to improve the game, right? But another thing to consider. So like I said, snowball champions have one of two things. Either A, they're good at killing champions, which we just mentioned. Warwick is not great at killing champions. This guy's 12-2, so he's making me look like a fool. But like I said, they gotta be like, he's gotta have blood trails, so it's not very consistent form of gameplay is what I mean. He got kind of lucky. This guy has been carrying every game I've seen in his match history, so I don't know what he's been doing. If it's just the Korean server, maybe it's just a lucky game. It's just worked out this way. And his other games, he snowballs through different means. But I do... Oh, so he's going Frostfire Gauntlet here. He goes Frostfire Gauntlet and he goes Warden's Mail, which, by the way, Warden's Mail is the kind of the polar opposite of Serrated Dirk in the same sense. It's an extremely gold efficient item, just in a tanky way. It gives you really gold efficient armor stats. So having Serrated Dirk plus Warden's Mail is basically like a full item. It's like 2,100 gold, but it feels like a 3,000 gold, or feels like a 2,500 gold item probably, right? It's just extra gold efficient, so that's pretty nice to have here. The Frostfire Gauntlet is interesting, but I think the Frostfire will allow him to stick onto enemies and stack up his Conqueror, which I think is like the idea that he has. This is a suicidal invade, but he is really fed, so he can afford to go it, not really care. So the good thing this patch is that Warwick, if he does get ahead, he's extra tanky now, which means so if you get ahead, you actually snowball, I think, harder, just because you're just gonna become you're gonna get closer to the unkillable threshold. So yeah, B, I dragged this on for a long time, I apologize. But B, so A, in order to snowball is to kill pressure. B is to farm fast. And as we know, Warwick's clear speed is not as good as it's really not that good. At best, it's average. He's able to clear 5 camps before crab spawns. Nice invade, just targets the front targets with his ultimates. Stacks up his Conquer, and now he's just looking to... He just goes for the disengage because he doesn't have a good way in. He focused the main target. Callisto was the main target, that's why he ults, but now he doesn't really... He doesn't have good follow-up at the moment. So he's just kind of playing with his team, trying to lifesteal off minions. We'll see what happens. But yeah, so yeah, Warwick's clear speed, not that great. With Tiamat, it does help. But his clear speed's not incredibly fast. It's definitely on the slower side. It's not super too slow, but it adds up over time. So if he's not able to kill targets, like he has bad gank power and he has average clear speed. You either want to have average both or great in one area, and he just has average in one area and bad in one area. So that's the kind of issue with Warwick. His early game snowball potential is very inconsistent, unreliable, and that's why he's not as good in higher ranks, in my opinion. So, you know, as of late, but especially this patch, I think it's kind of amplified those concerns. But going Tiamat definitely gives him some clear speed. And because it is a slower game, you know, he can kind of just farm a little bit more, like, he can just kind of chill back and farm without the game blowing up in front of his eyes, because if you go Tiamat and just power farm, the reason why I didn't like, you know, going Tiamat in previous patches and I was going Bork and stuff is games are a little bit more fast paced, so if you just power farmed a little bit, your teammates are just all going to die and you'd forfeit after 20 minutes. But now the game's a little bit slowed down, so that it actually might be pretty good. Still need to play more games to kind of figure it out. But yeah. So we'll see what this man's going to do here. I don't know how much gold he's spending. So the genius though behind the Serrated Dirk early game, like I said, very, very gold efficient item, but he didn't build it into any. He didn't rush into any other item, and I think that's the genius part, because if you build into like an item, if you turn your Serrated Dirk into a full like lethality item early on, I think it really just delays your core items that you're going to build. Like you want the Titanic Hydra here, you want the Frostfire to feel strong, so going like any other item would just stall out those power spikes, and those spikes wouldn't be as prominent. I'm trying to think of like what items you would build if you wanted to rush an item with Serrated Dirk. I know I've seen him go Umbral Glaive. I imagine he goes Umbral Glaive if he can like recall and buy it straight up. If he gets really fed early, he might just buy Umbral Glaive straight up or something like that. Although I don't think Umbral Glaive is very good in Warwick. I've tried it out. I have not liked it when I've tried it out. So, and the reason being is because Warwick, he can't dash over the walls and stuff, and he's not very like mobile around the map, or at least it's inconsistent around the map, which means his ward killing capabilities are a little bit more limited. Like he can't kill a ward, dash over the wall, kill another ward, right? He's not able to cover as much space. So I think Umbral Glaive isn't as great, but it could be okay situationally, I suppose. Maybe you could go like Yomu's Ghostblade. Maybe you could go like Edge of Night. But I think just sitting on the Serrated Dirk gives him really, really good value. So he turned his Warden's Mail into a Frozen Heart here. This is a cheap power spike. One of my favorites, as of late, one of my favorites. It's something actually underrated for a while, but as of late, it's been one of my favorite tank items to get, especially against AD champions, because it's a cheap power spike, and again, it's very gold efficient. The mana that it gives, honestly, isn't that relevant. Especially in the jungle, you're not going to really run into mana problems, but usually not running into mana problems versus never running into mana problems, you know, you'll take it. So there's still some value in the mana. But the real value of the item is just the armor and CDR that it provides, plus the passives are just really, really good. It's just a quick power spike. Allows you to get a strong armor item and then move on to your next item. And that's what's awesome about it. So his team, you know, just aces the enemy team. I think he's going to go ahead and... Are they going to do Baron? They're kind of low. I think they're just going to pass on the Baron right now. He's just going to go ahead and just take the red buff. Play it safe. There's no need to rush in this situation for his team anyways. I think they kind of outscale. And he's so strong that he can literally take over the game. Warwick just snowballs so hard. Warwick snowballs so hard. I mean, a lot of you guys know when you're in this position in Warwick, you don't feel like you're falling off. Like, people are like, oh, Warwick falls off. You don't... does this look like he's falling off? Dude, look at this health bar. Look at his damage. He's not falling off, man. He's completely a raid boss in these fights. Now, granted, he's significantly more fed than the enemy team, but he's never gonna feel that bad in team fights here. Makes a free pick on the Ballista, and I think he's actually going to Spirit Visage. I've been a anti-Spirit Visage man since season 11 item changes. They nerfed the resist it gave so much. They nerfed the healing a little bit as well. I think Spirit Visage got much worse since season 11. So I've built it like once since season 11. I'm not even joking. I think I built it like 2 or 3 times. But that's like, yeah, I like never build it. I don't think Spirit Visage is that good. But this last patch, it actually got buffed. In the sense that, first of all, you're going to be naturally tankier. So the healing is going to stick a little bit more. You're going to be able to heal a lot more often. But also, Grievous Wounds got nerfed. So this means when you get ignited, you're actually going to heal for a little bit more. So the Spirit Visage value actually goes up there. So Spirit Visage is something I'm going to probably be willing to try out a little bit more. I still think Force of Nature is kind of OP, but in this game, honestly, Spirit Visage looks pretty good here. I actually don't mind the Spirit Visage buy here, unironically. But he does tend to, I did notice in this match history, I think he tends to go Spirit Visage over Force of Nature. So, yeah, I don't know. I'll try Spirit Visage more, and maybe I'll find out that it just feels really, really good. And it's just worth it over the Force of Nature. Force of Nature is definitely good sometimes. If they have a lot of magic damage, they're spamming a lot of abilities. Really, really OP item. But we'll have to do some testing. He's gonna go ahead and reset, I think. Or I don't really know what he's doing here. I wish I could see how much gold he has. He could sniff that out. Had no blood trail, but could still smell the scent of the baits. He's gonna farm wolves here. Use your ult for the escape. Warwick's ultimates. Once you have rank 2 ultimate and a little bit of CDR, your ultimate's on like a minute cooldown, which means you can use it as just an escape and farm a couple camps and come back in and be fine. There's no need to greet it, which is incredibly ironic. If you guys watch my stream, you know that I'm a hypocrite for saying that, but it's true. I'm aware of my bad habits. I'm aware that I hold abilities, I hold barrier and flash too long. And it's a problem. I got a problem. He's gonna recall. It looks like he has enough for Spirit Visage. Curious to see what he wants to build next, though, after the Visage. He's got another item slot. He's got this serrated dirk. Does he sell it? I don't think he actually ends up selling it this game. I think they're gonna end soon. They're gonna like win the next fight and end. But I don't know what he does with the serrated dirk at the end. I imagine you actually sell it. I imagine you're just gonna sell it, unless you have like the Elder Dragon's coming up and you have 1300 gold, so you just buy the Emberglaive just for the extra stat efficiency and utility, right? Then you'd probably just build a lethality item, but otherwise I think you just look to sell it for a full tank item. Because your damage is going to be fine. The extra little bit AD isn't really a big deal here. Again, opens up in the Callista. He recognizes the target he needs to kill. And this man is just a raid boss right now. He's just not dying. He's not going to die. I mean, enemy team's getting wipes like crazy. But he obviously had a lot of raid boss potential this fight. He only showed like 10% of his true power here because his team was also strong. And he sees this blood trail, or doesn't even see a blood trail here, does he? He wants blood. Oh, come on, do it. I was cheering for him right there. I was cheering for him to get the Q follow. So they actually don't get Baron here. He actually kind of griefed. I'm not gonna lie, he kind of griefed. They should. His team. He definitely should have done Baron with his team, but he probably just feels so strong and just doesn't care. Like they're actually not up much gold though. He probably thinks that they're up more than they actually are. But that's just because he's just so unkillable right now. So you can see, like, enemy team collapsing on him. He ults out. It's fine. Kalista flashes in. Tickles them. Durability buffs, baby. When Warwick gets ahead, he's just not taking damage. So yeah, if you just get ahead every game, you're gonna win every game. Not every game, but you'll definitely feel like, look at that. He does a Jace EQ combo. He just doesn't. Looks like he literally got stabbed with a feather or something. And he just dives the backline, just doesn't care. Doesn't care. And that is a wrap, I think. I think this is the end of the game. So, yep, FF coming in. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys want to see more, gameplay from other, people. Whether it's Korean players, EUS players, maybe just me in general want to see more jungle work. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think of the build. And, yeah, I'm going to try to give you guys some more gameplay from all three roles that I play. Mid, top, jungle. I'm going to try to get out plenty of videos and let you guys know how my opinion of the durability update evolves and how it changes things, builds, and other matters. So, peace out. Thanks for watching. Later.